Yeah, so I would like to talk briefly about what is a recommended healthy awareness practice which doesn't have too many side effects that I recommend as a meditation, as a your own awareness practice on your own. And I'd like to talk a little bit about it, and then I would like to do it together here. Yeah. And then as I talk, and then we do this guided meditation here. Afterwards, I am going to, as we are in a somehow slightly different state, let's say less in the pedagogical listening, so we are more dropped in. At that time, I'm going to ask you a bunch of questions like, have you, think about this and think about that in your life. I'm going to poke the bear, as they say. I'm going to stir a little bit your whatever you got. We all have something that's not right in our life. So I'm going to do that. But from while we are in this mindful aware space, and then I'm going to guide a little bit of you kind of noticing what's happening in the body, and I'm going to guide a little bit of gentle unpacking. And then we are going to come back and we're going to share how it was for you, what came up. Yeah, so that's the plan. Yeah, so I do recommend, if you are interested in this work, to develop a meditation, mindfulness, witnessing practice, which ideally, to have at least like maybe 10 minutes, 12 minutes, to half an hour, 40 minutes. You can have more if you want, but we are usually busy and all of that. And also, you don't need to stay too much on your ass. I mean, we have things to do. So if it's less than that, I mean, of course, like 2 minutes to sit like this, of course, it would be better than not to do anything. But it's not enough time. Somehow we need a little bit more time for these waves of the mind to settle and this or that. So I really recommend that, like a minimum of 12, 15 minutes meditation. I mean, ideally in the morning if you can, because it will impact your day in a different way. You start the day with the Lord. I mean, Lord, with the mother, whatever. Honoring your consciousness, and it will help you be less spinning, less freaked out. It soothes the nervous system. So there are many benefits of this mindfulness. Even medically now they discovered it's good for the blood pressure, it's good for the nervous system. It changes the brain waves. It increases, it enhances the neurochemistry, helps you be more grounded, more creative thoughts come, your resilience to stress, all these benefits. That's why even in regular psychology now, just talk psychotherapy, cognitive behavioral therapy, other therapies, they recommend mindfulness. Yeah. Although this is like ancient, thousands and thousands of years old, yogis and the rishis in India and the Taoists and all of that. Yeah. So, yeah, the medical, physiological benefits are very good. I'm doing it here more from the point of view of, in order to us to deprogram ourselves from traumas and imprints and shadows, and to live more fully as a grown up, we need to be more aware of what the fuck is happening here, and to tune into, somehow to discover that there is this part of ourselves which is invisible and overlooked, something which is aware. This so-called witness, or some witnessing that is happening. All right. So theoretically, I mean, technically speaking, what I recommend when we meditate is to sit in a comfortable position, ideally with the back straight, but it's fine to lie down and stuff. Just some people will fall asleep. And relax your body. You don't need to have a particular type of posture or to be like a Buddha, like a cross-legged in a certain way, unless you're really comfortable and you like that. But the idea is to be comfortable, and feel free to change positions. The idea is to have your body as comfortable as possible, so the body is, you're not torturing your body. Yeah. Then, I mean, it's good to have a space, if you can, that is a nice space or altar or whatever, but that's not so relevant. In a park, somewhere in nature, whatever. What I recommend at the beginning, and this what I'm teaching now, is more like a simple, straightforward Buddhist Zen meditation that includes also the feelings and the body, and doesn't repress feelings and emotions. Some forms of meditation, they are very quick to get rid of unpleasantness in some way, to get rid of some anxiety, or to let go of this, or to let go of that, or to calm myself down. So that's a lot of doing and manipulation, which I understand it's human. We want to feel better. I get it. But ultimately, it is not skillful and it creates other problems. So, all right. I will teach something which I found to be doesn't have many side effects and have a lot of positive effects. Okay, and so I recommend, I'm going to say this a little bit and then we're going to do it, yeah? For most people, unless you're already awake or you have strong meditation practice, most of us, there's a lot of thoughts and the day and past, future, voices, and from one angle you drop in and it's like crazy, like the fuck. That's why I don't want to meditate, because it's crazy. So what is recommended is to begin by watching the breath. So first few minutes watching the breath without trying to change the breath, and noticing the belly rising and falling, or the air, and using that as an anchor into the present. And thoughts come and go. You try not to go in daydreaming, come back to the breath over and over. This is a little bit like a transition time to come from busyness, doingness, to more being aware. There are forms of meditation where they just stay with that a lot. They just stay with watching the breath for an hour or something. I don't recommend that. I recommend you stay with the breath just for a little bit of time. If the mind is very busy, when the mind is busy, this will quiet the mind a little bit. But I wouldn't recommend watching the breath all the time, because various reasons I'll discuss later. It's not sustainable. We want to have a meditation that can be sustainable in everyday life, where I can't watch my breath all the time. Yeah. So we watch the breath a little bit and thoughts will come. The task is to notice the thought and try not to go along with them, not to go into a story, not to go into la la land. See the thoughts as birds and something, and coming back to the breathing, to the now. The mind will keep checking out things to do, this or that. We watch it, we come back to the aware breathing. That's the idea. Don't try to stop the thoughts from happening, because it's not possible. It's stressful, it creates more thoughts. The thought is not the problem. It's that we are lost in thought all day, every day is the problem. We are identified with the thoughts. So we do this watching the breath for a little bit. And then what I recommend is to let that go. Let go of watching the breath. And then simply be aware of your experience in the present moment. Noticing thoughts, noticing sensations, the body sitting, the contact with the earth, temperature, sensations, contractions, emotions. So we notice the body, we allow it, we don't try to fix it, we don't try to change anything, we don't try to get rid of any feeling, we don't try to analyze why I have this. This will be called like witnessing without trying to change, or welcoming with benevolent indifference. So if there's anxiety or something, it's okay. Just I'm aware that there is this energy. There's sadness, I'm aware of sadness. Yeah, so we are aware of this, our experience in the moment, without judging it, controlling it, manipulating it, analyzing it. Okay, now our experience in the moment is three realms. So there's the thoughts in the mind, in the head, like images or voices, thoughts. Then there's the body. In the body, we have sensations or emotions. That's the body. And then there is the external sense perceptions, like with the world, like sounds. So the idea is to just be aware of the thoughts, feelings, sensations, and sounds. That's it. And you will drift, you will get lost in daydreaming. You'll just check out. That's how it works. As soon as you realize that, just bring yourself back. Don't beat yourself up. Bring yourself back to being here. All right. So that's a good intro. So let's do it together. I will hit this bell here, but I know it doesn't come right on the Zoom, so I'm sorry about that. Yeah, also throughout this, when you hear the bell, use that bell as a alarm clock, as a reminder in case you were checked out in daydreaming, in past or future. You like bring yourself back to the here and now, being present to the present. Make sure your body is relaxed. Becoming aware of the process of breathing, which is happening by itself. Whoever created the sun and the grass is taking care of that the body is breathing. And simply keeping attention focused on the breathing process, which could be the belly rising and falling, the various movement of the diaphragm, or the felt sense of the air in and out. Without allowing ourselves to check out in the past or the future. Whenever you catch yourself, you're checked out, bring yourself back to being aware of the breathing. Allowing the breath to be as it is, not trying to manipulate it. Body is breathing and awareness is noticing it. Relax your face, your jaw, your eyeballs, eyelids. You can let the jaw slightly hang. It is very natural to have thoughts or lots of thoughts or comments, images, songs. Doing the best you can, you notice them like trains coming for a station, but don't hop on. Or whenever you catch yourself, you are lost in a storyline, you can right away come back to the here and now, what's real, the present experiencing. Using the breathing as an anchor into the now. And some of us have a very, very busy mind, which is okay. Some of us may slow down or quiet. Some of us may notice that's not much mind. Good on you. But whatever the case is, notice that the thoughts are not continuous, that they arise like a wave, like a bird coming through the sky. then it dissipates. And there's space in between thoughts where we just are, just being here. So if you notice that you check out a lot, then maybe your mind will scold you or be upset with you. And that's another thought. Just notice and don't get involved. Just here, aware of the body breathing. Yeah, notice that it's happening by itself. We don't have to worry about it. And there's something which is aware of my words, something that is aware of the breathing process, just knowing the now. Allowing ourselves to arrive. In the body, in the room. Allowing yourselves to just be. Taking a little vacation from figuring things out, rehashing. Thoughts may come, but we are closed for business. Mm-hmm. As the mind gets more quiet, I invite you to somehow take your attention off breathing. That was a little artificial kind of concentration. Open the aperture of attention like a camera, zooming out. And noticing the experience of hearing sounds. Just aware of hearing sounds, like a cat. My voice, the rain and the thunder here. You guys online don't hear that. The sound in your room, the sound the body makes. Using sounds as an anchor into the now. You notice you don't need thinking in order to be aware of sounds. Each time you get lost in a line of thinkingness, come back to the here and now, like a cat. There are sounds, and then there's something here that is aware of sounds. There's this presence, aware presence, which perceives. The sounds come and go, but this presence which perceives is here. Don't be upset with the mind. It's natural to have thoughts, especially for quite some time, lots of thoughts. With practice, you'll get better at noticing them as they arise and not getting involved. Or diminishing the time you spend in being checked out and coming more quicker back to the present and the presence. And bring your awareness now, your attention to the experience of the body. The body not as a concept or as an image in the mirror, but aware of the body as an experience right now. And notice the sensations of the contact with the floor. Contact with the chair or the cushion, the bed. These are sensations. Also, you can scan throughout the inner experience of the body. Notice any sensations or tensions, pains, flows of energy. Without trying to think about it or figure it out or analyze or comment, just witnessing the phenomena. And notice the chest, the belly, the throat. And whatever you find there, we don't have to call it anything. It's our words. Just notice that they are changing, they are static, we're simply noticing without doing anything about it. Whatever energies or stuff you notice, welcome it completely. In other words, let go resisting it. Or as Adyashanti would say, a Zen master would say too, can we let everything be as it is? And something is aware, yet untouched, unaffected by any of these energies. Some of you may notice that the body is calm and, let's say, transparent or vibrant, pleasant flows of energy, or it feels like there is no body, it's just empty space. Some of us may notice tensions, vibrations, or some sense of unpleasantness, yuckiness somewhere. Or some of us may feel like numb, like not feeling much. Whatever the case, that is fine, that's okay. Just noticing and allowing without trying to change anything. Especially if it's unpleasant. And being the witness of these energies. Some of us, we may bounce out into the mind with some looping thought or something to do. That's okay. Notice that. Come back to the present moment. Well, I took you guys more like just as if it was the first time for you, just to take it from scratch. I took you sector by sector, being aware of breathing, being aware of thinking and not getting lost in it, and being aware of the world, the sounds, and then being aware of the bodily energies. So these three realms, the thinking, the body, and the world. But in reality, they all happen all at once. So I invite you now to, in a freestyle, just being present to the totality of the now. Passing thought, the rain, something in the body. The beginning and for quite some time, the obstacle to this living consciously in the now is this daydreaming. So just know that, and whenever you catch yourself in your mind left, got attached to somewhere else, bring yourself back, coming back to the now. Being globally present and globally aware, not just the head, but also include the bodily energies and the sounds. Some of us may feel some squirminess, some antsiness. Do the best you can to notice. Also, when Buddha was teaching, apparently, and there are some manuscripts, apparently, he will say this: as a thought appears, as a thought arises, memory, an image, a voice, notice it and realize it is not I, it's not me, it's a thought arising and passing. As a feeling or emotion or sensation arises, notice it and see that it's not I, it's not me. It's an emotion or a sensation arising and passing. It's more obvious with sounds. The sounds happening. It's not I, it's not me. So what Buddha was teaching, to notice this ever-changing flow of phenomena. Ever-changing. The thoughts changed since we were a baby. Billions and billions of thoughts and ideas. Feelings change so much. Sounds. Permanence, ever-changing. You can verify that now, don't believe me. But what Buddha was saying too is that see that these thoughts come, they go, but you, that which is aware, doesn't go. The feeling, the mood, the states, they come, they go. But that which is aware of them doesn't go with them. The same with sounds. So this means that I am not the thoughts. Thoughts appear, go away. I am that which is aware of the thoughts. Take a moment to notice and acknowledge and sense that which is actually invisible. It's that the fact of being aware, the sense of this presence, which is simply hearing these words right now. It's not the thought that is hearing. It's this aware presence, you, that's hearing, witnessing. And no matter what happened to us in childhood or whatever is happening in our life, no feeling, no emotion is scratched or harmed, damaged this aware presence. A big part of this meditation practice is to decant, separate somehow all these phenomena moving from this presence and see that this is stable and take refuge in it, take refuge in the now, in the aware presence. And the thoughts and the feelings are like a show. In the unconscious asleep state, we are believing them as me. Creates a lot of problems. So for the last minute or so, do nothing. Just being. And this awareness, this aware presence is already here, whether we are aware of it or not. And we can gradually, ever softly, allow this presence that we are to open the eyelids just a little bit first, and just noticing shapes, colors. And see if you can look around the room a little bit without going into labeling or memory. It's like toddlers are like that. Just pure seeing. And, that for some time there's a tendency to believe that, okay, now meditation ended and now we are just back to normal. Do the best you can throughout this circle and your life to okay, the only thing changes that now there's visuals. We can still stay present and aware of thoughts, comments, judgments, reactions, and sounds.